Have you ever held on so tight to something or someone that it started to hurt you? You knew it wasn't good for you anymore, but you couldn't let go. Yeah, we all have, but what if I told you that sometimes letting go isn't losing, it's healing? And one of the most powerful stories ever told about this comes from Rumi, and it will change the way you look at pain, love, and even sacrifice. A young prince is out on a hunting trip. He's powerful, rich, probably used to getting whatever he wants, and suddenly he sees her, a girl, beautiful beyond words, so beautiful in fact that he stops everything. He approaches her and with gold, charm, and promises, convinces her to come with him, and she agrees. Everything seems perfect until she falls sick, really sick. The prince panics. He calls every doctor, every healer, every wise man in the land. They examine her, they give her herbs, potions, prayers, but nothing works. She gets weaker, paler, sadder. And here's what Rumi says: none of them said, if God wills. They thought they had control, but healing without God, Rumi says, that's like writing your name on water. It disappears before the ink even settles. So the prince finally does what he should have done from the start. He turns to prayer, to God, and begs for help. And that's when something strange happens. A physician appears, but not an ordinary one. Not from any village, not from this world. A heavenly doctor sent from above. He looks at the girl, not just her body, but her soul. And the diagnosis? She's not sick, she's lovesick, she's in love with someone else. A goldsmith from Samarkand. And that's what's eating her from the inside. Her body is collapsing because her heart is burning. Now the prince has a choice. Does he hide this truth? Punish her? Blame her? No. He does something shocking, something pure. He finds the goldsmith, brings him to the palace, and lets them marry. For 6 months, the girl is happy, radiant, alive again. But that's not the end, because the same divine doctor gives the goldsmith a secret potion. It doesn't kill him, not at once, but slowly it breaks him down. His beauty fades, his voice weakens, his charm disappears, and one day the girl wakes up, looks at him, and feels nothing. She falls out of love. The obsession is broken, and only then does her heart begin to truly heal. She returns to the prince, not out of pressure or control, but because she is no longer a prisoner to her attachment. You might be thinking, wait, what? Why would the divine doctor poison someone? Isn't that cruel? That's where Rumi hits you with the truth. This is the same wisdom, he says, as when God asked Ibrahim to sacrifice his son, or when the angel with Musa killed the young boy. These are not human decisions. They come from a realm of truth we can't fully see. Let's rewind to Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him. He waited his whole life to have a child. And when he finally had one, Allah asks him to do the unthinkable. Let him go. Not because the child was bad, not because Ibrahim was being punished, but because even something good can become an idol in your heart if it blocks your surrender to the one. And Ibrahim passed the test. He showed that his love for Allah was above everything, even his own blood. And just like that, Allah replaced the sacrifice with mercy. Just like the girl had to let go of her goldsmith, Ibrahim had to let go of his son, at least in his heart. That's the core of real love. It's not about clinging, it's about surrender. Now let's talk about Musa, peace be upon him. He once traveled with a mysterious figure, Khidr, who did some very strange things. One of them, he killed a young boy. Musa was shocked, angry, confused. But later, Khidr explained that child was going to grow up to hurt his righteous parents. So Allah, in his mercy, took him early and would replace him with something. Sometimes what looks like pain is actually protection. The goldsmith wasn't evil, but he wasn't what the girl needed to grow. So he was removed, not out of cruelty, but out of divine wisdom. Just like the child, just like the son of Ibrahim. She's the raw truth Rumi is trying to give us. Letting go feels like death, but sometimes it's the only path to life. The girl thought she needed the goldsmith to be happy, but that love was attachments, ego, fantasy. It wasn't real love, it was hunger, and real healing didn't begin until she was broken. Rumi says, only the one whose clothes are torn by love is free from greed and sin. In other words, you don't grow through comforts, you grow through surrender. You stop chasing shadows. You stop worshipping temporary things. You stop clinging to people who aren't meant for your path. And you start turning inward, polishing your heart, listening for the sound of the flute, the ache, the longing, the whisper that says, let go and come home. Maybe this message came to you right now because you're holding on to something, a person, a plan, a dream that no longer serves your soul. Maybe it's time to let it go, not because you're giving up, but because you're ready to grow. Rumi's story is not about a prince or a girl, it's about you. It's about what you cling to and what you need to let go of so you can finally be free, because sometimes the heartbreak is the healing.